broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, hey everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to another AfterBuzz after show for called Midwife. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hi everybody.
And Marisa Serafini.
Hello everyone.
Okay, I have to say right off the bat, I don't really know how I want to tackle this one or dissect this, so to speak, because although this did make me tear up, I did cry a little bit there because how can you not with Sister Winifred and feeling horrible about what happened. I'm so angry to some degree about this. It's just the whole time, everything that's happening to Dorothy Whitmore, I'm just going, why is this happening? Really? This is how we're going to do this?
Because it sucks to be a woman in 1960s.
It does.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Okay. Well, first off,
And I think you didn't cry because you're cold-hearted like some of our fans.
No, I did cry.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it still got me. But yeah, I noticed I was just going, no, like Mrs. Tucker.
The injustice.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was just wanted to fly through the television and just say a few things and maybe take a few people out. That's what I was thinking.
For sure.
At least you felt something.
Did you guys feel that kind of upset about that?
The desperation really hit me with her. Mm-hmm. She was in such a desperate situation, and there's there really are extremely limited options for women in that time.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was just upsetting for her character that one thing just kept leading to worse situations and just got worse and worse for her.
No oasis in sight. Even the one she went to, you expect Winifred, kind of disappointing for the way she handled it. She obviously came back at the end there, but it was like, she's got nowhere to go. Really? You're just gonna...
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard. So, are we going to break down that?
Yeah. Well, let me just start with this.
Okay.
Because I like the way it opened. I particularly love the transition between the credit sequence into the
I noticed that too.
They do them a lot and stuff. I just particularly like this one. In fact, there's a really couple of seamless or very, I should say, telling or provocative scene changes and transitions they use between scenes, which we'll talk about. I just thought that were very interesting. Yeah. But this one I really liked. Coming off the credit sequence, we went to the black and white of the clothes and everything that comes in color. I just liked it a lot. Thought it was really nice. And then the
conversation was about
how
the
VO,
life is getting more modern here.
But
and so
some people are shunning it.
And we're kind of moving from the Dark Ages into
but some people don't like
color.
it because they like living in the convenience of having doors being open and live next to your cousin and your aunt, which we experience here in the States too, because especially back east, your whole family lived in one building.
Yeah, it's a communal environment.
Yeah, and there are good things about that and bad things about that, because obviously the typhoid comes at issue later. But just the whole idea of having that help, that support system so close, and especially here in the States, when everybody started moving out to the suburbs, that became less of a thing. Yeah. And you didn't have that support group. So anyway, we get to see that shown here. And then you see what happens when you don't have a support system. So let's go specifically to the Dorothy Whitmore storyline, where obviously she, we first meet her. She's a school teacher. Winifred's there. Winifred, by the way, it's great episode for her.
Yes.
Terrific. We got to see her. And so she meets, and I didn't even know she was a former teacher. I'm sure that was probably explained at some point, but I missed it. But she's great with the kids. She loves the kids, and they're all bandages everywhere.
Misses it.
And what?
She misses being
a
teacher.
Oh, yeah, misses it, absolutely.
And we should have known not to jump ahead, but they kind of laid that fact.
Yeah.
It's like she misses it, that might come back around.
Yeah. But again, they laid it in nicely. But I just the bandage, the ridiculousness of the kids trying to put all these bandages on it. For me, I was just like,
what you do in first aid class,
what are they
John?
trying to teach them?
Haven't been to a first aid class
No,
lately,
I haven't been to a first aid class, but
I still remember how to tie those bandages.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, you all should be very thankful. You never know when I'm going to have to tie a bandage. I got a pashmina over there. I can make it into a splint in 2 seconds flat.
And you could save her life.
You bet.
There you go.
All right, but okay, so let's we find out obviously that she's not feeling well, or she's got irregular periods, and then she throws up, and it's like, whoa, and okay, guess what? Yes, she's pregnant.
Yeah,
and then each time we come back to that storyline, first it's, are you having irregular periods? No, I'm not having any. Oh, well, you might be pregnant. And then it's, well, I'm sure your husband, I think, is, I'm not married.
Your fiance.
Your fiance. Oh, but then your fiance. Well, I don't even have one of those. And then find out the boyfriend's married. So each time it just gets worse and worse, and I'm going, oh man.
In so many different ways it gets worse.
What did you do to yourself? So, a horrible situation for her to be in, and obviously responsible to a large degree of it. And it just gets worse because, once we find out, okay, she doesn't have a fiance, she has a boyfriend, but he's married. Then, but Doc Turner's great because you'll get help
no matter what. We don't discriminate. Essentially, is what he said.
And in the beginning, I thought Winifred was terrific. It was great, just what the one we've come to expect from these Nonnatus nuns and sisters. The way their kindness, the way they treat them without judgment and stuff like that. But then later,
it comes.
Oh my God! Well, let's get to judge. Yeah, go ahead. You want to say
No.
something?
She gets kicked out of her apartment.
Yes, because Mrs. Tucker. First thing she hears, she just overhears her throwing up in the bathroom because of morning sickness. And I just, she's yelling about the egg, and I'm going,
your egg's congealing.
Yeah, what a horrible
and then
portion
also
to board from.
going through her personal items.
Oh, I know.
To even find that out.
Yeah, and I was just going, wait a minute. I mean,
it's like invasion of privacy.
Yeah. But I guess if you're renting a room in somebody's house, they think they can just check into these things. And I thought that was so innocuous that he was just going to give her pills for, iron or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, of course, they had the label on them, and she immediately, boom, I saw that. That's it. You're out.
Yeah.
And I went, whoa, can that happen? Really? Yes, I guess so. I mean,
I guess back then she didn't really have a say.
Terrible, right? No recourse. That's it. You're out. And just, that's it.
Well, and
I paid my rent. No?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've taken your money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
bye-bye.
As part of your notice, and that's it. You're out.
Swindled the money.
Right. And so what's she going to do? No, I need you to give me that money.
Yeah.
Because then there will be a public fight about it.
Right.
And her name will further be besmirched by rude ass Mrs. Tucker.
Yeah. And she can't, now she has no money to find another place to do anything with. So, and she's a teacher, so we all know she doesn't have a lot of money.
She makes bank. Are you kidding?
Exactly. And then I was thinking, well, wait a minute. This goes right to that storyline, which is there is no support system for her. Apparently, if she has parents, she's not willing to contact them, or she doesn't have any family to contact, or isn't willing to, or they didn't show her. So one can only presume that she doesn't have that, or isn't willing to go there for whatever reason. Doesn't think she can get that support.
Right.
So she's left with nothing.
Well, she could go see the Magdalene sisters. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Sorry. Anybody's seen it?
Good reference. Okay.
It's horrible. Look it up, people.
I think it was just really sad, but she was literally all by herself. And she was supporting herself. I mean, and she had a job, and she had a good place to stay, and it was everything that just came crashing in on her.
Except for a horrible lessor.
Landlady.
Landlady, yeah, I guess a better way of saying it. But and then when they had the scene in the bench when we first meet the boyfriend and we learn what that's all about.
Jerky Jeremy.
Is that what, I didn't realize that was his name. All right, thank you very much for qualifying that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But it was actually, I love the way it was shot too. It was very interesting, especially since we had a parallel scene. We came back to it later when she's all alone on the bench, so I thought that was a nice callback to it.
Kids running by as they're finishing their conversation.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's the foreshadowing of what might be, but it's not to be because he doesn't have any money and he can't say anything anyway. So
he wanted her to get rid of it.
Yeah,
immediately.
And then the just the weird, awkward, horrible scene. First saying that, like, oh yeah, I hear that you can do these things with money. Do you have any? No. Oh, by the way, nice dress because that's the one you wore when we first met. What?
Yeah. In retrospect, the worst day of my life.
Right.
But
that's where it all started to go to.
It was very insincere. He tried to play it off.
Well, yeah, and when he's walking away, well, we still love each other, don't we? It was kind of like, you betcha, baby.
Yeah, it was, of course. Yeah,
of course.
God, I kept going, oh, my heart's gonna break for this girl because it's just kept getting worse. I'm just going, how much farther can this get? And that's, of course, she gets kicked, and then loses her job because Miss Tucker feels the need to go down and hand the envelope over, and I was surprised the envelope wasn't already opened and read.
I was so surprised it wasn't
and the money
opened.
taken out of it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she would do that, like steam it open.
I was very surprised that because she'd obviously, searched through her stuff before. What would keep her from opening a sealed envelope?
Yeah, I was very surprised that it was like that too. So, but anyway, so she does get fired, and then the way she gets fired, just summarily, that's it, you're out. No goodbyes, no nothings. It wouldn't be best. And what is it that she says? We hire people of the most exemplary morality or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, except for the fact that you're throwing somebody out right away
in their moment of need.
Yeah, exactly.
How moral is that? I felt really bad when she didn't even get to say goodbye to her children.
Yeah.
Because we already established the fact that she loves teaching,
and they loved her.
Kids, and she didn't even. It was just a clear cut.
Just the way she showed up at class that day, the way they were
hugging her.
Yeah, you could see.
I just wanted to see that. Just give her one moment.
No, yeah.
But to think about it, if she goes back in the classroom, it would just been a really torturous scene. Her, brokenhearted about leaving these kids, either lying to them and saying, I'll see you tomorrow, or not lying to them and having to kind of explain, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, which would break the kids' hearts.
It'd be more traumatic for the kids as well. So absolutely. I
So,
totally understand everything. It's just that it was just
cold.
So cold. Exactly. So cold. And I'm not used to seeing so cold. But I guess it helps when you see that, because then when the kindness comes, it's even better.
It was 47 degrees in LA cold. That's cold. That is cold.
Burr. So it was just fired outright, and then the fact that she, just the horrible visual of her walking the streets with all the luggage and all of her stuff. Yeah,
she had to carry her stuff way too much.
Yeah, carrying her baggage, literally.
Literally.
Yeah, and the only place she has to go to is back to the Nonnatus House. Sorry, excuse me. And then the reception she gets is even cold. Again, they put her in the hallway there. She's not welcomed in, so I'm sure she's welcomed to some degree, but we don't see any of that. She's just sitting there, and everything is happening outside of her, around her. She's not really being in any way
included,
welcomed to any of that. And even when Winifred finally does see her, it's kind of brusque. It's not rude, but it's certainly when she's saying goodbye, all she can do is kind of bow her head.
Perfunctory.
Yes, and I was just wow. After all that, really, she's got nothing. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just more surprised that she got that type of reception at the house, the Nonnatus House, from the women who are always preaching every single day, treat others with respect and kindness, and they weren't even reflecting that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's right. It's not like they were rude. They weren't unkind. It's just that you were just going.
There wasn't
you expected
the warmth.
Something more from Winifred, and which is obviously playing into the whole story arc, because we learned later that she couldn't, or wasn't willing to. She was judging her because she's too like her, and the whole thing. It's a privilege to be a teacher. It's a responsibility, and here she's having an affair with a married man, and she couldn't bring herself not to judge. And that's great, because I appreciated seeing that side of one of the sisters.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Sister Julianne's comments there, where she was saying, this woman is having an affair with a married man, and Sister Julia says an error in judgment for which he's paying a heavy price.
Yeah, more than him.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it gets worse.
Yeah, it gets worse.
But I love how Sister Julian did put it into perspective.
Yeah.
It's into a way that we all can actually feel for what's happening to Miss Whitmore.
But it does get worse.
Going back to the bench scene, the music that was playing.
Oh yeah.
Take good care of my baby.
Is that the first time we went back, or the second time?
When she got.
Oh,
when she got the letter, when she was reading the letter.
Oh, right, the letter
on the bench,
which is great, because the letter that
from
has
him
the money
with the money
says, I hope this helps somehow, or something like that.
I hope this is of some help.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, buddy. And then he hangs up on her.
Super helpful.
Prior to that, he hangs up on her. It's like click. Yeah, it was like wow.
That was cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was just getting more and more pissed, to be honest with you. I was like, isn't anybody going to help her?
It's so interesting. I wasn't so much angry as I was just, just so defeated, because she's obviously a clever woman who's, likable and
made a
has
horrible mistake of finding this guy.
and just know where to turn. And the despair was just kind of looming and coming in and really sort of grabbing her by now. And so that's where she goes back to her hostel, her bed sit at the hospital, and starts drinking gin.
Well, I just there's a couple imagery things that I wanted to talk about and how they shot it, because after she goes to Nonnatus House, and Julian says that she has a room for. We see them; they have to sing, and we see that it is affecting Sister Winifred. She's not able to sing; she's more subdued than usual. So we do get to see her trying to wrestle with it. She's conflicted about it, and we don't know what's about until we learn what it's all about. And I thought it was an interesting argument to make, that they're like me, and that's why I'm judging them. So she obviously has her own judgments about that towards herself as well. And then when we see the Spartanness of the hostel that she's, I'm just going, wow. For, not that the place where she was living with Mrs. Tucker was that great, but just that it was so empty and there's no one there. See, we were in this Nonnatus House with all these midwives and sisters, and nobody really there. And then now she's all alone. The whole time we've been just stripping everything away. All that support system that we talked about in the beginning, with cousins, aunts, uncles living all right next to you with open doors and all that other stuff. Here we have an open door with nobody there except you and nobody to help. There are no aunts, uncles, cousins. There's no friends. There's nothing. It's just you.
No community of any
kind. And this horrible thing that you have to choose and to deal with. And the only thing she can think of to do is just shocking. And of course, it happened a lot. But I also, again, the imagery of just the first time she hangs up that dress that they talked about on the bench. Tammy, you caught this. I wasn't even paying attention, but she's hanging up that dress. And I thought, what a nice callback to the dress. And
what do? I go,
yeah, because you see the wire hanger.
And you go, what? And I go, it's a wire hanger.
And I went, oh, no, they're not gonna. Yeah. And I was not prepared for that. Of course they did. Yeah, and again, they had another, this was another transition once she's actually pulling that apart. And the noise, you can hear the sound, and it's just that noise and her and the imagery and the way it was shot. I'm just going, and the whole time my mind's saying, no, they can't, no, she can't, no, something's going to happen. Someone's going to come, and of course not. And then it transitioned to the next scene.
Transition to
Barbara in the closet, and I'm just going, yeah, it's just...
Oh my goodness!
And then we come back to that, and then all you see is her on the bed, and they just pull back to reveal the sink with a little blood on the sink, and you're just going, oh my God! And it's just unfathomable that I'm sorry to go on and on about this, but that's why I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
So anyway, did any of these things?
It was just very disturbing because, again, to go back to the fact that she was all alone, and it was that desperate moment of no one was there to talk her out of doing something that sad and self-inflicting that she did. And I think, and not to jump ahead, but when we find out that she's on the street, and then people are actually starting to help her, it was just
and even
too late.
Even that when she's at the bus stop, she collapses. One woman.
Yeah, exactly.
One woman helps it. Everybody else is kind of what? Oh,
that's my teacher.
Yeah.
I was very thankful for that woman because when she said to her daughter, "Don't stare," I was like, "Oh God, do they even know what's going on with her?" And because we were seeing judgment throughout the whole throughout the whole episode. And then when there was conversation between them, I thought, okay, maybe we're not going to have another horrible, nasty, vicious, interaction between people. And then she passes out, and thankfully that woman was there to help her.
It's just so. And then of course we learned from Constable Noakes everything that transpired, and Winifred being there with Julian and having it all happen. It's just
she's in the hospital. She's lost the baby. She's had a hysterectomy. We don't think it can get worse. And she's a crime.
It's still a crime.
She's a crime. It's fine.
It's a crime.
And then she's also getting
interrogated.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
And I knew that was coming too.
She's literally in a hospital bed and being interrogated.
Yeah. When Noakes showed up, you were like, "Oh, Noakes," and I was like, "Oh, Noakes." Right. So then we see Winifred in the chapel.
Yeah. Just
devastated. Sobbing, crying, and knowing that she was to blame for this entire sequence of events. I mean, in her mind, she was to blame.
Felt responsible.
Yeah. and then Sister Julienne saying, you did help. She says, no, I judged. And, I wasn't there for her. And then she says, well, she's never had more in need of a friend than now. And that was the moment that killed me. That was where I just was like, gone.
That one, it took you to that one, huh?
That was the place where I really went over the edge.
I'm only saying that because there was a bunch of other moments in the beginning.
Whatever! You don't know me.
Yeah, I know.
But I did like the moment where she realized, like, she needs a person, so I should help.
I have the opportunity to redeem myself.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Like that whole self-reflection and be like, okay, yeah, I judged, but now I can actually do something about it.
Yeah, and the scene we had at the hospital.
Yeah.
It was, to me, it was a nice parallel thing again from the first time she was sitting on a bed with her, and when she was saying, "No, everything's gonna be okay. We'll figure,
right.
We'll,
early on, yeah.
And she was so, and here you go. No, here's when you're actually really helping her,
making impact.
Yeah, and so you got to see that growth, that nice character arc. So that was terrific.
And when Sister Winifred broke down, saying, "I'm so sorry. I should have helped you more," and then Dorothy says, "Don't hate me."
Yeah.
And then
what do you say to that?
And then I'm awfully frightened, sister, because that's got to be, there's so much going on there. I've got no support, as evidenced by the answer to the question from Constable Noakes. So you were alone when this happened? Completely, she said. No money, no family, no support, no relationship, no job.
No place to live.
No place to live, potentially going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially still could die. She did not look good.
Right.
No.
I'd be awfully afraid myself.
She lost it all.
And Winifred going to bat for her. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Can you please look the other way?
It's very interesting that
a nun
exactly asking a police officer, constable, to look the other way. It's like, wow. That's weird. How often does that happen?
Yeah, it's just like, just show a little bit of compassion if you knew everything she was going through right now.
And of course he's going, look, it's not just up to me. So,
yeah, obviously.
Well, he was doing his job too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's unlikely my superiors are going to want to pursue her because that's a...
They're looking for the abortionist, not looking for this. Yeah,
exactly. Only for a few more years, ladies.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. But you're right. When she said... When Dorothy said, "Don't hate me" and all that, I was just like, "Jeez, what?" Yeah, it's like what he said. Seriously, I still think about it, and I go, "Wow, what? How could you possibly think that?" But she's already taken on so much and already feels so horrible. Well, maybe not so much.
So she gets healthy, gets out of the hospital, and gets booted out of town.
Yeah, and the last stuff, the last lines, VO with Vanessa
Redgrave.
Yeah, talking about it. I'm just
lost his appetite.
Just and again, the way it was shot, it was beautiful. She was saying how she left to another place to forget, to be forgotten, and to start over. And they just show her disappearing down,
carrying her stuff again,
just
with her.
Disappearing, just fading. And I just was brutal. Going, how many times have we just let people fade away because they didn't do what we wanted them to do or act a certain way?
Caring.
Yeah, and again, I think, and I kept going back to the metaphor. It's like, this is what happens when you don't have them.
When you don't have support.
They just end up somewhere else. They just go away so that we don't. They're out of sight, out of mind, so we don't have to worry about them. And I was just, God, this was killing me. Yeah, this was killing me.
Another shot you mentioned that you like was the one when they were when she was sitting in the hallway at Nonnatus, and the conversation. People were going by the conversation, and anyway, Sister Julienne said, leave us, let us leave you now because we have to go have our prayers or do our hymns or whatever it was. And so they walk away. Yeah. And so you've got the foreground with Dorothy, the middle ground with the nuns going into the chapel, and then the way down the hall background. It was
the table where everybody dines, where family would gather, and it's empty, and you're just going, jeez, it's all empty. It was a beautiful shot, though. It was a great storytelling device. Yeah. Anyway, I really appreciated that. I liked it.
And then we ended with Sister Winifred being given her job.
Yeah.
Given the job.
Feeling it's a betrayal. Yeah. Is this a punishment? No, it's a compliment. I go, what? Well, it feels like a betrayal.
Yeah, and I can see that because now she's finally come around and realized that the ultimate prices that this woman has had to pay all along, and it would feel like a betrayal.
Yeah.
Because I know how much she loved this job. I know how much she loved these children. How can I, the person who was never there for her getting through it now take over for her? That would be hard.
Yeah, it would be hard. Yeah.
But the vow of obedience. Oh. Use that against her also.
Yeah. But I like when they say this because it's nice to be reminded every once in a while, oh, that's right.
They're not.
Shoot.
Yeah. They're taking a vow. So, and she's great with the kids. And it was such a wonderfully conflicted scene at the end there when they wave goodbye to each other and then she and Winifred turns and then she's
rustling
to get the kids in and stuff, because at the end of the day she's got to be there for the kids. And,
Yep.
It was just sad, layered. So, all right.
That was hard. That was hard.
So, all right. Typhoid. Let's go to Typhoid Meg.
Typhoid Meg.
Typhoid Nana Meg. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least it wasn't Mary. Typhoid Mary.
Yes.
We've had stories of typhoid.
So another theme.
It was like another problem that could actually happen in a community because it's not always the best to be in a community
especially
either.
when you're sharing bathrooms and food and everything. They made that very abundantly clear. Yeah. And I lived in a neighborhood like you don't go to your neighbor's house and everything was open like that. Yeah, it was always like that.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, that's for sure.
I don't know.
You have to have play dates. You can't just go over your neighbor's house. What were you going to say?
Another theme through this storyline was judgment. The sister-in-law judging Benny.
Yeah. Angie was judging Benny.
Everybody judging themselves essentially through that.
Sure, certainly
when
Nana
we didn't
Meg,
know the source of the typhoid, and painful, difficult.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the main themes were judgment and also feeling guilty. For
yes,
all
judgment and
these
guilt.
stories.
Yes,
Judgment
absolutely.
and guilt.
Yeah, definitely true for Winifred.
How they all dealt with guilt as well.
Yeah.
Well, because we first started out with Jeanette giving birth to a baby girl to Benny Sue. And, of course, Nana Meg is there, and everything seems to be fine. Everything's great. Everybody's happy. I love the way that Nana Meg was running around everybody. It's a girl. It's a girl.
Everyone knows.
And Stan, he gives her grief, and then he says, lovely.
Lovely.
Just, nice little moments and everything like that. So you quickly got, okay, this is close-knit group, family clan, so to speak, neighbors and all that kind of stuff. That was a lot. I liked that theme running through it. But as soon as Jeanette gets sick, and Patsy noticing it right away. I didn't know anything about the plucking and all this other stuff.
No, me neither.
That was news to me, and I went, well, we got to do some research on that. We haven't had time.
Didn't have time.
So, and you guys hadn't heard anything like that, Marissa? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't.
Even though we just heard a story about
you
Typhoid
know everything
Mary.
I know about typhoid.
Yeah.
We heard a story on NPR about Typhoid Mary. Very interesting story, actually.
Yeah,
but so we get a little glimmer of Patsy's backstory. With the only other time I've seen this is with my mother and my sister in the camps.
And I was like, what? And I was going, did we know about the camps? What do we know about the camps? Have we heard about the camps? And so if I missed something, I don't recall it.
I'm sure someone will let us know, but I don't think we have.
Thank you very much for everybody who's going to let us know about it and get us up to date. But for some reason, I don't recall anything about that.
No.
And we didn't get much more of it later in the episode. So
no, but it was referred to again, and something that was obviously important to Patsy. Because she'd lived through this with her mother and her sister, and Delia knew about it.
Yeah,
I would never say anything Delia says. So we find out that Nana Meg is the carrier, and
of all people,
after all the blood tests,
and before that, Stan dies.
Yeah.
So when Meg finds out, she's devastated. First of all, get this baby away from me.
I know.
She's the one who's been taking care of this poor baby whose mother's been ill. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I need to wash my hands. I feel so dirty. I'm so sorry I made Jeanette sick and I killed Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the guilt.
Let's talk about the guilt. Yeah.
The guilt.
Yeah. And
I think it was just very interesting, like how extreme she immediately turned. from going to a caring, loving person taking care of a child to be like, no one touch me, no one come near me, I am the cause of all
and
of
again,
this.
in that parallel scene, the first time we see the young boy, he comes in there and she says, I'll make your sandwiches here, just wash your hands. And then the next time he comes in, get out! I can't do that anymore. And she's just lashing out because she's so upset, but it doesn't mean to lash out at him. He just happens to be in the crosshairs.
Just like two extremes for her.
Yeah. Well, especially if you feel responsible.
Caroline says, I was sure I already knew Patsy had been in a concentration camp in the war in the Far East, but I could have imagined it. Okay. So,
well, thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. We'll see if maybe somebody else knows more. But yeah, that, then she becomes obsessed with keeping clean.
Yeah.
Washing her hands multiple times, scrubbing.
That's horrible. Actually, when they showed the hands, it's like, oh, God, that felt bad.
Yeah. And, it's that incredible response. I mean, because, she's probably sitting there with every scrub going, who else have I killed?
Yeah, exactly.
Not even knowing if I've had this my whole life.
Right.
Being in a community, who else could she currently affect?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Living in those close quarters.
Yeah. But Jeanette survives.
Yeah.
Baby's A-okay.
We had that nice moment, though. He goes down the hospital hall and the bed's empty. And I'm going, they already killed Stan. Do they have to have another death in this one? So.
And then he turns, hello, love.
Exactly.
I'm glad he got a happy ending after all the judgment that he got from his fellow people.
Yeah, and all the, in the community, people watching him walk by, he's out there smoking, and it's
just because he looks different. Yeah. Just because he looks different, you don't have to be prejudiced about that.
So, and I thought that, they decide, when they bring her in, you have to register, and I'm going, register typhoid. And we go, okay, it makes sense. But, that was just an odd scene that you have to register. And I go, okay, but that, I guess, it's communicable disease. And it can cause a lot of problems. So, yeah, sure. And then, but there are a few restrictions, and they're all trying to make it all sunny. Like, you just got to have common sense, cleanliness, all that kind of stuff. But, of course, if I was, Nana Meg, I'd probably be saying, you know what? No, get me away from everybody. Because I don't know if I could if I could take it knowing that I infected somebody else.
I know.
Again, I would probably want to have myself removed.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Would you?
Yes. I mean, it would be incredibly difficult. Like you say, the guilt would just, and the sort of specter of it is hanging over you at all times.
Exactly.
And like you say, they keep saying, oh, it's no big deal. It's just soap and water. It's, you have hot water and it's, it's great. But she thought she was doing it all right in the first place because she was boiling water and we saw her. We witnessed her washing her hands lots of times.
Yeah. And I think it was just upsetting for her because she didn't realize it and she was the carrier, was dormant, and it affects so many people in ways that they didn't even know.
Yeah.
So knowing that it can be dormant, affecting other people if I was put in that situation, I would have want to remove myself too from a community. But it's not extremely change your ways of living.
Right. But, obviously by the end, so she does move into the
wonderful apartment
the fancy
in the sky.
New apartment, the nest in the sky with hot water. And everyone's still there, and they're essentially still having their same great life. So,
we did get to see that, which is
just
a nice.
Has to be way more caution.
It's a nice book and everything, but you wonder. That was a big, huge. I don't know how it was in England, London at the time, but especially back east, like as I mentioned earlier, once that started happening, where you started moving out of the city, even though you'd visit, it was never the same.
Right.
So I'm just wondering how that happened in London of the day. I mean, did that really change happen over there as well as it did here? I thought that would be interesting to know.
Yeah, and it changes society.
Absolutely. So.
Absolutely.
There's many things happen in the CC. What else? And then also what the final voiceover had to say about her story, too. That shame is born in public and lived out secretly.
And lived out secretly.
If you can't see it, you can't wash it away. It's just. Ugh. Oh, the other thing was I thought how they married in the whole Sister Monica Joan with the weeds. I thought that was they just need to have a place to grow, and why should we throw them away just because someone decides they shouldn't live here? Because again, obviously speaking to to Nana Meg's storyline, but it also spoke to Dorothy's storyline, which is everybody was saying you don't
need to be removed.
You need to be removed and stuff. And I thought, well, because in the beginning I was going, what is this about? Why is the scene here? Then I started, I get
the
it.
weed scene?
Yeah, it's like, what? I just trying to figure out why they were putting her there and talking about it and everything. That's like, then it obviously slowly dawns on me. Of course, it took me longer than usual. But it's like, why are they putting her here? What is this about?
I do not believe in weeds.
Yeah, I do not believe in weeds. And then I just liked everything that she had to say about it.
It deserves an efficacious spot in which to flourish, as we all do.
Which is obviously the thing that gets Patsy thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because why would you want to remove an energy and a support system like Nana Meg if you didn't have to?
Yeah.
So, nice.
It's beautiful.
All right, we got to move on to the other things because we're running out of time.
Barbara and Tom.
Yes, of course, Barbara and Tom. So as we've been talking about and as they've been showing for the last couple of weeks, they finally go out on a date. Yeah.
Spicy Indian food.
Sparks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
smitten is what I
like,
said.
All right, so
Sparks.
what do you think of the coupling there? Do we like this?
I think
ladies?
it's nice.
I like it.
I still have a little loyalty toward Trixie, but you know, she was a mess when they were together. So
Maybe Tom be
She
with
wasn't
someone
a-
who's not.
I don't have any loyalty towards it, only because I don't think they were a good fit anyway.
But okay. So I'm not getting into predictions because we're not going to do predictions this time. But she is a different person than she was when they were together.
That's true. I agree with you.
She was definitely more materialistic, more about, a wedding than a marriage. She was, she was not the same person she is now.
Okay,
So,
yeah, you're right. I'll give you that. Absolutely.
I think Barbara is a good fit for Tom because didn't she say the line she was the daughter of a vicar?
yes, that's true.
And
so she
Tom
knows
is
that
a vicar,
life.
so like they have very similarities, a lot of similarities there where they can actually be compatible together.
Yeah. And they're just
I'm
damn
for it.
cute together, too.
Yeah, like I'm totally for it.
Well, and she checked in with her without Trixie realizing it. Do you ever
Right.
wish you hadn't broken up with Tom? No, I think it's fine. And I
Yeah.
think he and I
We'll
should
find
both find
others.
other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, like me?
Yeah, but you couldn't
It's
bring
also-
yourself to
it's
say
also-
anything, and that was the nice running gag, if I can use the term, only because everybody kept saying, especially Phyllis, just
You
a
should tell him.
straight out.
You should
Yeah.
talk to her about
And
it.
It's the
she
girl
waited,
code.
Waited till the last minute. Oh shoot! Oh, no, I can't. Oh shoot!
Yeah. Oh, darn.
Yeah, shucks. Yeah. Now, do we like her outfit? The
Oh,
white
the polka dot
dots?
dress?
Yeah, and the red belt.
Cute.
Polka dot safe.
Adorable.
Safe.
I thought it was hysterical little wave she gives him.
Yeah.
I know. The scene with Phyllis beforehand where Phyllis had set out her
Great.
outfit.
Way to go, Phyllis.
And I smell of sweat and amniotic fluid. Not really desirable for going out on a date, I'm guessing.
I would guess not.
I think it's great because last
you're a
episode
brick.
when Phyllis was going to the girls asking
Yes,
for
it was a
advice
good
and now
callback.
it's like going back, she's
Yeah.
also giving the
And
same
she's
advice.
the wiser. She was
Yeah.
had everything laid out and everything like that. Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
And the line about Phyllis and when Phyllis and Barbara are talking about it and beforehand and saying you need to tell Trixie, how do you know it's not going out? I think if it weren't, you wouldn't be so concerned.
Yeah.
A little wisdom.
She was putting a lot of effort into that outfit.
Good
No, she was.
point. I didn't even think about
I feel
that.
like people who like,
Yeah.
really care think it's something more.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, she did put a lot of effort.
She put a
in,
lot
for
of
sure.
effort, and that was a running storyline with
Yeah,
her character.
And Fred with a nice tidbit about the milk and not one.
Yeah, and then their conversation about marriage too. Tom and Fred's conversation about marriage in the garden.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was good.
I'm for this relationship.
You're okay.
Like,
There
I
you
would
go.
love to see where it goes.
And the one other little precursor conversation, which was nothing good ever comes from keeping secrets, does it, Nurse Mount?
Yeah.
Oh! I think we know where that one's going.
Yeah.
It's gotta
That
be
was
a
another
secret
thing
that's coming out.
I was going, why did they bring Patsy into this scene? I was curious. It's like, shouldn't we know? Oh, that's why.
Oh, right.
Nice little memory there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Patsy was born in Shanghai. She, her mother, and her sister were interred in Singapore by the Japanese in World War II, and only Patsy survived.
Well, who provided that for
I
us?
just know that.
Yes. All right.
Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. God,
Caroline.
what a savior.
Again.
Man, there you go. Thanks.
Thank you for answering questions
That was
for us.
awesome.
Should we move on to just a quick one about Patsy?
Yeah, well, yes. She's going to put Patsy storyline. I mean, obviously that's going to continue. And we were talking last week. We're wondering how is this relationship going to work? I mean, she's moving in there. It's not like they're going to be alone. And then, of course, they were actually joking about all the housemates. Yeah.
Some of them very pious.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the moment at dinner where they were talking about typhoid, Patsy was upset about it.
Right.
Delia touches her and pulls back.
Yeah.
Do you think it was because she was upset about her family, or do you think it was because she was concerned?
I think a couple things. I think they all read like it could be all of them. She was concerned that don't touch me in front of everybody because I don't know how to deal with this just yet. Don't touch me because I might have typhoid. I mean, it could have been all of that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of energy there.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it was more so she didn't know what to deal with in that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was
situation.
because 2 minutes later she's sitting on a bed with her. So, but
and I wanted you to comfort me. I just didn't know how with the others being around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna go bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's interesting. They're now putting them two together in the same location. We'll just see how that actually. Yeah. How that actually plays out.
Yeah, which is going to drive
if it's going to be good or bad.
Some of us to drink and maybe Trixie to drink.
No, well, I think Barb and Tom will do that.
Yeah. But so speaking of the conversation of Trixie with Phyllis, in the end, I have a commitment on Tuesday evenings.
Yeah.
And then Phyllis with characteristic called midwife.
But
kindness.
Yeah, but uncharacteristic of Phyllis. She was very adroitly walking that line about
I think I actually know, but I'm not going to pry, but it all seems very sensible.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa. So she's a little of that aplomb. He was working his way into even Phyllis.
Yes.
Because I thought for sure she just blurted out.
Right.
But probably because they had that moment last week with helping her get polished.
Yes. And also knowing the stickiness between Barbara and Trixie and the Tom situation, realizing that there's some opportunities for heartbreak here, and maybe a little kindness is going to go a long way.
And also just, again, I think it goes right to that storyline about being supportive. I know you don't need to tell me, but it's a great idea, meaning I'm there to
support you.
Exactly. And I think that goes to that whole theme we were playing with today. Because the Nonnatus House is just like that community. Open doors, I mean,
everyone knows each other.
Exactly.
They're all in pajamas.
Very well crafted.
Yeah. Great episode. Not as heart-wrenching, but like you were saying,
just as emotional for me in a different way.
Powerful.
Exactly. And making me go like, oh God, how could they be so cruel to each other?
Right. Yeah. I really felt the guilt aspect of all of the and how women were treated, and if something were to happen and how people viewed them in that situation. They really were put between a rock and a hard place.
And a lot of times we get the storylines because Poplar is a poor community. We see the options they have. This time we have somebody who's not really from Poplar. She just happens to work there, so she has more options. But even those get stripped away, and it's just merely because she's a woman. Mm-hmm. She has fewer options.
Marginalized.
Yeah.
Times were hard.
Yeah.
Dun-dun. Okay. All right, we got to get out of here. So
Courtney's going to be back with us next week.
Yes, Courtney will be back next week. So we'll walk with her. Right now she's shooting this week. So she's off producing that film. So we wish her well on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any last thoughts before we tell them where they can find?
Thank you for comments. Thank you for questions. Thank you for emails. We really appreciate it all.
Again, Caroline, thank you for being our research hub today.
Caroline, she's our closet fan. She can't tell her any friends
that's okay.
She's one of our fans. You don't have to. We know who you are, and that's okay.
So, and we appreciate the fact that you're helping us out.
And everyone else, too. John, I think it was John Collins, wrote to me as well.
Collins, nice.
Who is one of our Downton Abbey fans.
Yes.
So great, wonderful people, and we appreciate it super lots.
All right, Marisa.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
You can find me, yes, John Collins is what it was. You can find me at Tamara Berg on Twitter, and my website is tamaracentral.com.
And you can find me here next week when we talk about Call the Midwife. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Cup of tea.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.